And we'll begin the meeting then also.
It's 7:34, Madam Secretary, are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right, we are, hold on here, we're live streaming, I believe. And that one's live now.
7:34, Madam Secretary, are you ready to go?
There we go. All right, we are, hold on here, we're live streaming, I believe. All right. All right, we're ready.
Okay. The Monday, August 10th, 2020 meeting will begin by having a pledge of allegiance to the flag and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're ready.
All right, thank you. Before we move on, we had a brief executive session for personnel and confidential and legal information. All right. We had sent to us the minutes from 7/20/20. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to
Aye.
second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any noes? Comments? All right. All right, I understand we're going to have building reports.
We are going to have building reports this afternoon. And we're going to start, actually, if you're okay, with Dr. Sanders. And Dr. Sanders, then to Mr. Cobb, our principal there, to Dr. Armacost, to Mr. Moeller, to Dr. Bowman. So Dr. Sanders, if you're ready, go ahead and unmute yourself and you may present.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Glad to see everyone.
Talk about what you're going to be reporting on.
All right, glad to see everyone and welcome. Glad to have us.
We are going to have building reports.
Several things to talk about. One, we're going to excited about starting a new program on the Haggerty program. It's a Phonemic awareness program. We do it with our K through 2 students. So we're excited about that getting up and running.
Are we still live streaming by chance? I might have turned it off. I'm not, no, I apologize.
No, I think we are still live, but there's a lot of echo.
You are still live streaming, Dr. Ruda. So I'll just remind everybody, if you're not speaking, please mute your line because there's a lot of extra background noise. It sounds like there's a TV on in the background, and that will really help the public to hear.
I'll start again.
Yep, go ahead, Dr. Sanders.
Okay, good evening. I'm glad to see everyone. At CT and Anna, we will be starting a new program this year with our K through 2 students called Haggerty. It's a phonemic awareness program, and we're very excited that under the direction of Dr. Perry, along with Amy Meckley and Jenna Steiner, to get that up and running for all of our kids. Along with that, we'll be focusing this year on 3 major things, all of the Haggerty phonemic awareness, focus on phonics and the use of our decodable readers through K through 3. So we're excited about all those ELA and reading things underway, and thank you for your evening.
Thank you, Dr. Sanders. Mr. Cobb.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to just update everybody on the motto that both NOE and CTE will have this year. We want everybody to be flexible, safe, and supportive. So Dr. Sanders and I met. We came up with those principles this year because we understand being flexible. You know, it's going to look a little bit different this year, but it's important that we do those things to keep everybody safe, both students and staff. And the last part, obviously, is supportive. We need to make sure that we're check in on our students and checking in on our staff to make sure that we're going to have a great school year.
Thank you. All right. Dr. Armacost?
Dr. Rudisil, he was having issues a little bit ago getting in.
Yeah,
We were back and forth, but I thought he was in.
he's in, but we can't hear him. We can't hear you, Dr. Armacost. I'll come back to you, all right? Mr. Muller, go ahead, seeing as
Sure.
we could hear you.
That's not always a good thing. I'm going to say Dr. Sanders and Mr. Cobb talked a little bit about programs, but for us, I want to talk about the people a little bit. The biggest highlight for me has been the display of teamwork and togetherness that we felt. We say that a lot this time of year, particularly as we end the summer in the beginning of the year. But I tell you what, this year brings with it a new resolve from our secretarial staff to our custodial teams to the teacher leaders that have helped out. John and I, and of course, district office, as everybody's rolled up their sleeves to kind of develop this plan. And it's all about making this happen. It's an uncertain environment, but we're determined to make it happen for our students. They're our greatest resource that we have. And it's been a true whatever it takes type of attitude. So that has been refreshing. It's a true essence of what a Colonial is. And we're very, very proud of that. Aside from that, I would say also there's a euphoria across our district. I got a lot of friends who in other buildings as well, but the iPads that our students have, we were to get them this fall. We got them in March anyway of last year, just because of the nature of what happened. But I know for us to pull that off right now, when we're ahead of schedule anyway, is remarkable. And I know it's going to be great for our students. And again, it says a lot for what we've done in that program. So again, from the middle school, we're fired up and ready to go.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
having.
All right. Dr. Bowman?
Good evening, everyone. Hello from New Oxford High School. Just want to thank you for allowing me to just kind of say a few words tonight. As Mr. Muller had shared, we at New Oxford High School are pretty excited as well. I can tell you that from all of us, on behalf of all of us at the high school, we cannot wait to get our students and staff back in the building. I want to just give a quick shout out to our office and custodial teams. They have been working nonstop and so diligently throughout the entire summer to get us ready and to get our buildings clean and safe. And I can't say enough about what they do for our campus and for our district. So a shout out to those who may not always get the credit, but they certainly deserve a lot of it. So we're just hopeful moving forward that we are able to see our students and staff sooner than later. And of course, that includes our sports and athletics, and we're still holding on to that dream that's going to happen. So appreciate your support and your constant collaboration.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Armacost, are you able to join us? No?
Dr. Armacost, I don't know if you got my text. If you can check the arrow next to the mute button on the bottom left, make sure that your mic is checked on the microphone you want it to use.
All right. Try unmuting and see if that works. No, sir. Nothing. Do you want to text Dr. Bowman or someone what you'd like to report out? All right. Dr. Armacost is going to text his report. As he's doing that, there is obviously no student report tonight. We'll have that starting in September. We do have a student, as Dr. Bowman is waiting for the text. Dr. Bowman, I know we have a new student representative. Do you know who that will be? And can you share that with the board?
Yes, our new student representative this year will be Isabella Bankert, one of our seniors who's been, I believe, involved in student council since the 4th grade. So she will be an excellent addition for you as a student representative, and will certainly represent New Oxford High School very well.
Isabella Bankert will be our new student representative.
will be present, right?
It will be her choice to be present or to join via Zoom, just like everyone else is.
Is there any reason why once school starts, we couldn't have our principals come in? I mean,
To be able to socially distance in this room, it would be tight. It's tight as it is. We can look into it. We'll mess around with the arrangement,
even if they sat outside and,
one at a time or something. Yeah, we could look into that.
it
So,
make it easier for us to understand what they're trying to convey.
sure.
They can come in.
Yep.
If they wish. That's all.
All right, go ahead, Dr. Bowman.
All right. So on behalf of Dr. Hummerkoff from CVIS, he'd like me to share that they are looking forward to the year as optimistically as possible, taking a glass half full approach. We would expect nothing less from Dr. Hummerkoff and his crew. And he wanted to thank his custodial staff for all that they continue to do to meet the necessary challenges to get us ready to go.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And that's our building reports, sir.
All right. So since we don't have a student here this evening, Dr. Perry, you are next.
Okay. So thank you for this evening. I have 3 items to share with you. The first being that I had the privilege of meeting our 11 new teachers today for the first day of induction. So we are conducting induction activities in person throughout the week, this week. So we're really excited to bring them on board, and it was a nice soft landing for them today. And then we're gonna get really deep with a lot of professional learning this week to help set them off on their very best foot as they move forward. The second item that I wanted to mention is I wanted to thank so many people that have worked with us and have given us the feedback regarding the instruction plan that is on the agenda this evening for approval. The instructional plan this evening did take into consideration the feedback and the comments, not only from the board, but from further comments from our committee, our administrative team, curriculum leaders, personnel from across our school district, and as well as parent feedback. So I do appreciate that. I do feel like this evening we're bringing forward an instructional plan for your approval that's viable, that to the best of our knowledge, we can implement with fidelity. The final item that I wanted to share with you this evening is the privilege of working with the new learning coaches, who you had approved at a previous meeting. So I have been meeting with them somewhat regularly to enable the support of our faculty in this transition of this new year of implementing this instruction plan. So these instructional coaches will be instrumental in supporting curriculum leaders as well as principals for full implementation of our instruction plan. And so I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to bring them on board. That's all I have for this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for meeting tonight. So for my superintendent's report tonight, it's on my page here too, but just want to say first and foremost, good evening to everyone joining us, to our administrators, to our school board members, and to our community. To say the last 5 months have been a challenge would be an understatement. But I want to take this moment and thank our school board for your support and understanding as we navigated these uncharted waters to develop a plan that will allow our students to return to school safely. I want to recognize Dr. Sharon Perry, our assistant superintendent, for all her time, dedication, and vision to develop an instructional plan that will allow our students to work with our teachers to maximize their learning in a new educational setting. I want to thank Dr. Steph Corbin for making sure all our students with IEPs, 504s, GIEPs will be ready to start on day one, and we as a district will be able to meet their educational needs. I want to thank Dr. Karen Sipe for being our pandemic coordinator and helping to design a health and safety plan that implements the recommendations from PDE, Governor Wolf, and Secretary Levine. The plan we present tonight is a true testament to teachers, administrators, school board, and community feedback working together to help make sure our students and staff will be safe returning to school. Thank you to Mrs. Bobby Biken for helping to create a transportation plan and opportunity that will fall in line with our health and safety plan. This was no easy task, but Mrs. Biken was up to the challenge. Thank you to Mrs. Ashley Sprankle, our food service coordinator, for creating a safe environment for lunch to happen and the ability to be able to provide breakfast and lunch for our students on a daily basis. Thank you to Mrs. Lori Duncan and her staff for helping to manage funds for grants and other money that came in to allow our district to purchase the necessary cleaning supplies and educational materials so that we would be ready for the 2020-2021 school year. Thank you to Mr. Doug Epley and his staff for preparing over 4,000 iPads for our students. In addition, we've added more bandwidth to accommodate all these iPads. We've added outdoor hotspots to each school, along with adding Wi-Fi out to our stadium. In addition, he has purchased hotspots so that we can provide Wi-Fi and internet to all our families that may be in need. So thank you to Mr. Doug Epley and his staff. Thank you to Mr. Joshua Lovejoy for all his work with human resources by reaching out to faculty and staff to determine the needs that they have on answering questions regarding COVID-19 in our schools. To our building administrators, thank you for your time and dedication in creating your plans that will be more building specific to allow our students a safe and healthy return to school on August 25th. All these plans that we talked about, the health and safety plan, updated calendars, building plans will be shared tomorrow with parents, August 11th, 2020. I'll be sharing my community message at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and all the school district and building information will follow that 9 o'clock. So parents will receive a lot of information tomorrow. So please make sure you take the time to read over it all. And if you have questions, then do not hesitate to reach out to your building administrators to get more guidance. To our teachers, thank you for your input and support as we created our health and safety plan along with our instructional plan. Your input is valued, and we could not have done any of this without you, and we truly appreciate it. An enormous thank you to Mr. Jeff Murn and his maintenance and ground staff and our building custodians for all their work to make sure that the buildings are clean, sanitized, and ready for staff and students to return on August 25th. Finally, I am very proud to present our health and safety plan along with our instructional plan this evening, as I feel we have one of the best plans that allows our students and staff to return to school safely. While I recognize no plan will ever be perfect and everyone will not completely be happy, I believe that we have done an outstanding job trying to get back to some type of normalcy and a routine of school that will allow our students to learn again. Please know while we approve this plan this evening, it is not finished and it will be flexible. This plan will change as our situation changes. We may be back here in September, October making changes. Who knows? But either way, we will be ready. We know the situation will change and we'll meet those challenges to make sure that our staff and our students always stay healthy. Thank you.
Okay, from the board, we recognize that all these kudos that you are handing out, it all starts at the top. So without you two making sure that the trickle down effect is planned and put in effect, it's all collaborative and everybody coming together. I sat in some of the meetings that we had, and I know that there was a lot of people involved with input, but it still takes a leader at the top to make sure that all this comes together. We appreciate everything you do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right.
All right.
So you are only going to read from Dr. Perry. When you read these comments, you only read from column F right now. Anything in column G will be later on.
Okay. At this point, we need to add a
Yep.
19 to our personnel. Nate Edwards is a long-term sub, and we will have to have a
motion to add 19 to the agenda under personnel.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a second. We now have a motion. We'll need a roll call vote.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Mr. Huffman,
Yeah. Mr. Huffman is not on right now, and we don't know where he's at. That was Melanie's iPhone.
Ms. Gowker,
Yes.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Ms. Souter, Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Groff.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have public comment on agenda-related items.
And for tonight, Dr. Perry is going to read the names of the people and their comments on items related to the agenda.
And whoever has their mic on, can somebody turn it on? I'm hearing a lot of background noise.
Okay, the first comment is from Raquel Piper. If a child is a junior or senior and are accepted into a program at Adams County Technical Institute, are they able to utilize Lincoln's Edge, or are they required to attend in person at Conewago Valley School District?
Go ahead and answer this one.
So the answer to this question is they would have to attend in person at Conewago Valley School District. At this time, Lincoln Edge does not have a partnership relationship with ACTI, so it would not be possible for a student attending Lincoln's Edge to simultaneously attend Adams County Technical Institute. The second comment this evening is from Laura Wolkowitz.
No, Brittany Hodges. Under Raquel Piper is Brittany Hodges. I have been preparing. You're right there. You're in the cell. It's Brittany Hodges.
Okay, Brittany Hodges.
And then just go over to the long thing that says I've been preparing.
I have been preparing to send my children to school based upon the plan provided on your website and email. Now there is talk of a new plan coming out after August 10th board meeting. 2 weeks is not enough time for parents of younger age children to plan for childcare. Changing plans on parents so soon before the start of school is irresponsible and unacceptable. Parents who, after reading the initial plan, decide to keep their students home have the choice to do so. I feel that the plan provided adequately meets the infection prevention policies provided by the state and feel confident my children are safe going back to school. I should have the right to send them. The school survey results show that parents overwhelmingly agree with my opinion. Teachers who are opposed to going back to school should need to teach for the entire school day as they would if school were in session in order to earn their salaries. They should not be allowed to remain at home where they are able to provide care for their children and merely provide a few hours per week of instruction. That is not what our tax dollars are paying for. We experienced an increase to the school tax this year. This community demands that our tax dollars be put to use by providing adequate instruction to our children. If our children are not being instructed for the standardized amount of hours per week, then parents need to be reimbursed so that they can pay for childcare. Again, 2 weeks notice of a major change, such as not providing 5 days of face-to-face instruction for students, K-8 is unacceptable. Shame on anyone who would put parents through this unnecessary stress.
Now you got Laura Wilkins. I'll continue. Dr. Perry has her computer is frozen, so I'll continue with the comments. Next one's from Laura Wolkowitz. Thank you for adopting the hybrid model for grades 4 through 12. Our family is relieved that the building capacity and social distancing are being accounted for in this plan. Although I remain concerned for teachers and other school staff, I hope the school will continue to reinforce the importance of wearing masks. Next comment is from Allison Strock. I believe it would make more sense if Mondays were going to be early dismissal. It should just be a homeschool day. It would also be easier instead of alternating Mondays with A/B schedule. Next comment is from Ryan Fox. The global supply chain is struggling to keep up with various product demands. If our school district cannot get cleaning related supplies in time for school to open for the district safety plan, what options will we have for students? Appreciate all the district team is doing. Amy Knoll, if a teacher is exposed or has contracted COVID-19, would all the teachers, staff, and students in that particular hall need to be quarantined as well? What would be the process for an event such as this? Thanks in advance. Becky Colgan, buses, working parents, what are we supposed to do? Jenny Good, I'd like to know the specifics of the school day. This is helpful in preparing our children for the upcoming school year and also making the decision whether or not to send my children for face-to-face instruction. In particular, what will recess look like, gym time, etc. If gym time being adapted. I have concerns about children wearing masks and doing strenuous activity. Also, I understand following the PDE regarding mask usage. However, I saw there would be mask breaks. When would this occur? If students are at desks, would that be a mask break? Dave Thornton, YouTube live stream not working. Hopefully that's working now, Dave. I believe we fixed the problem. Plus, in addition, Dave, we started at 7 o'clock, but we were in an executive session talking personnel, and that cannot be live streamed. Rachel Brillhart, can we hook up the high school students with the, oh, sorry. She started and then read that for a non-agenda item. So we'll make sure we read that during the agenda item itself, non-agenda items to report on. I believe that covers all agenda items for this evening.
Thank you for the public comment. There is no honors and recognition tonight, so we will move on to the treasurer.
Balance of the four accounts is $10,925,572.79. So we move the treasurer's report to file for all.
Okay, any additions or corrections? If not, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. We need a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Mr. Huffman,
He is not able to join us right now. He's still having technical difficulties.
Mrs. Gauker, Ms.
Yes.
Gauker. Mrs.
Yes.
Bolt,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
That was a yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Groff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have ways and means. Jeff, would you take care of ways and means, please?
Oh, finance first.
I'm sorry. You gave the treasurer. All right. Let's move on to finance.
Like the motion, finance, item number 1.
Okay, we have item number 1. And do we have any additions or corrections in the totals? If not, we need a second.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Gauker,
Yes.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Cliffinger,
Yes.
Mr. Brawl.
Yes,
Thank you.
now we will move on to Ways and Means.
I'd like to motion that we approve items 1 through 2 and also approve additional items 3 through 8.
Okay.
Okay, we have,
Second.
Well,
we have items 1 through 2 with additional items 3 through 8. Is there any additions or corrections? Not, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
well, before we vote, would you like me to present the updated health plan along with any questions that you may have on that? Okay. All right, very good. So with our updated health plan, there were some changes that we made, and I want to make everybody aware. And Dr. Perry can talk about the instructional plan, some of the changes we made with that. But with our health plan, some of the changes we did make is one of the things that we did do is we changed to a total reopen to a blended reopening, allowing our 4 through 12 to go an A-B schedule, along with our K through 3 still to be face-to-face in person. And we have not changed any dates or anything like that. We have not pushed anything back. So August 19th is our first official day with staff, but they'll actually be here August 18th for another professional learning day. And then August 25th for students will be the first official day. And our pandemic coordinator team is now indicated that Dr. Sipe is the pandemic coordinator, whereas before it was listed as both, but we also wanted to indicate that she was the pandemic coordinator also. In our cleaning, sanitizing, and ventilation part, we added just a few things. We will be cleaning and disinfecting high-touch surface areas. While it's not directly listed in the health plan, this will be done nowhere, probably between 2 to 4 times a day. The high-touch surface areas will be done either by custodians or teachers, depending on where it's at and location. In addition, we will obviously in the AM and PM bus runs, they will be cleaned in between runs also. So when the bus goes to pick up kids first run, it'll be sanitized. After that first run, they'll go and wipe down every seat and spray the buses down, so they'll be ready for the round 2 to bring in our elementary students. And that process will repeat in the afternoon also. In addition, we have purchased Clorox 360 machines for the district. And what they are is they allow us to go into a room and spray down a room and disinfect it. It takes about 15-20 minutes to get everything in the room. And we will do that once a month or as needed, depending on the situation. So once a month, every room will be sprayed down and disinfected upon all the other enhanced clean that we'll be doing. In addition, we are now currently in the process of beginning to move our bathroom fixtures to a touchless process. That will take a while. It won't happen before school starts, but during school, we'll be able to do that process. Our water fountains are also being converted to non-touch for a bottle filler instead of, and all the other water fountains will be turned off. We will have hand sanitizer stations ready to go, and we'll ventilate our buses as much as possible, weather permitting, with windows open. In the classroom, every classroom will be socially distanced of 6 feet for the desks, and that's per the PDE recommendation, along with maintaining 25 or less students, including an instructor in every room. So we'll be able to do that K through 3, because our average class size ranges from anywhere from 14 to 22. And at the 4 through 12 level, we will be able to socially distance by going to the hybrid model, because right now our class sizes are anywhere from 25 to 29 per class, and we simply cannot fit all those students in at one time. But obviously reducing that class size down to 12 to 15 students, we'll be able to do that. In addition, by maintaining that 6 feet, we'll also, and this kind of relates to the comment made earlier, we'll be able to, PDE says that if we are 6 feet socially distanced, then we can, the students, if they're working, do not have to wear their mask during that time. So while that will not necessarily be the mask break, that will be another opportunity to have their mask not on if they're working. Otherwise, obviously, any type of transition through hallways to cafeteria will require that mask to be worn, and obviously on the bus also to be worn. We will build in mask breaks throughout the day in spite of having the 6 feet of social distance. We'll do that also when we have an opportunity to socially distance the kids, whether that be at recess or other opportunities. We'll create those. We will have floor markings in place, and if you walk through our middle school now, you'll see the X's are there on the tables, on the floor, directing the kids where to go and how to socially distance while waiting for their food in line and so forth. I think what else we have in there that wasn't mentioned before. Obviously, all our employees and students will follow the PA universal face covering mandate set forth by Governor Wolf, and we'll continue to do that as long as we're in session. We will have posters available in every classroom and in every corridor that Dr. Sipe has ready to go, and they'll be in Spanish and in English for all students to follow and just remind, along with daily reminders through our warning announcements through each school. They'll be doing that. In addition to our plan, every office will have protocol on how to enter the office and what to do. And the staff have been trained in asking questions and how to follow up with protocol. And every person that wants to visit will have to have a mask on, and they'll be scanned at the front office with a temperature for their temperature. So we have protocol in place, and that will be shared out. Each building will share that protocol with you tomorrow at some point if you need to visit at any time. And like I said, this plan will be shared tomorrow with every parent also so that they can preview it, and will also be on our website. In regards to sports right now, we will follow all PIAA and York and Adams recommendations for sports, and that is sports are to start August 31st for football, September 4th for all other sports, with the first event happening September 18th for football and September 24th for all other sports. The only two exceptions for that would be golf on September 8th and tennis on September 9th. Along with that, though, with that guidance comes the fact that right now, all of York and Adams County schools are saying that no spectators may attend sporting events. If that changes, the district will be ready to adapt and adopt a policy if need be. I think other than that, I think we're good to go. Are there any questions on the health and safety plan in regards to anything that was mentioned? And like I said, as far as transportation goes, we're going to extend our walk zones. And today I was in contact with Chief Woods from McSherrystown as one of those boroughs that will be affected by this. And we've come up with a plan that will safely get our kids to school. And that may require McSherrystown and us to work together to get more crossing guards in place. And we're working on that right now. So that is one thing. And obviously our buses will be 2x2, 2 for every seat. And there'll be a video released tomorrow so parents and students can watch how to load the bus and unload the bus safely. We'll have that. Are there any questions in the health and safety plan related that may not have been addressed that the board would have questions on?
I do have a question.
Yep.
And thank you for providing a summary of the changes. Is there a change to how the students will enter the building at the beginning of the day and
Yes.
leave at the end of the day?
Yeah. So the question was, is there a way that the students will enter and exit the buildings when they come to school? Yes, that will be shared tomorrow, and each building will be unique in how they choose to enter and exit the buildings. And each building, when they share their plan tomorrow, will also have that in their plan so students know ahead of time and parents know ahead of time how the students will enter and exit. But each grade level will have its own separate entrance into a building or special entrance that they'll come and go that way. And inside the building itself, they have traffic patterns set up for students to follow. And even with dismissal, they have a staggered dismissal system in the school that will get the kids to the bus safely without, with their mask on.
Does it change the way the buses enter and
It will not change anything the way the buses enter and leave. That will still happen. The only thing that will change is maybe where the kids get off the bus when they come into the school. Some may exit a little bit further down, closer to the end where the softball fields are by the middle school, because there's an entrance there where certain grade levels will enter. 7-3, 8-3 may enter there, but then the buses will take the rest of the kids up to the main entrance of the middle school or high school to drop them off. So that will not change.
how about our students that drive? Does anything change for those students?
It does not change. The only thing that will change for those students is obviously when they get out of their car, they'll just need to enter their specific exit or entrance, which will be shared tomorrow with everyone.
Are there any other questions for?
I did have one other question. So you had mentioned that the plan is going to be available tomorrow. Are there any other communications that we'll be doing?
So tomorrow, what I'll share out tomorrow via Skylert at 9 a.m. will be the updated health and safety plan. There'll be an updated instructional plan that Dr. Perry is going to talk about here shortly. There will be an updated academic calendar. No dates have changed. The only thing we've done is we've updated the calendar to reflect the fact that every Monday, K through 12 will be an early dismissal, 2-hour early dismissal. The reason for the early dismissal is this will allow us to do some enhanced cleaning to our buildings, along with providing our staff time to professionally develop themselves and plan lessons for the week. We felt that important to make sure that we've heard the parents from last time saying, look, when we went online in the spring, it wasn't very rigorous, it wasn't very challenging, there wasn't a lot of accountability. So in order to make sure that we change that and provide that piece, we need to provide that opportunity for them to plan those lessons and make sure that they have everything in place ready for the week. So on the days that a student may be home for hybrid learning, they're going to be held accountable, and it's going to be rigorous, and it's not going to stop their learning process. The way that we kind of came to a halt in the spring, we recognize that. We recognize from the community that they wanted that to change. Okay. All right. Dr. Perry, would you like to talk about the instructional plan? There you go. I have it up there for you. Use my.
Good evening. So I wanted to briefly provide an overview of the 2020-2021 instruction plan, as well as the changes based upon the feedback that we've received from faculty, curriculum leaders, coaches, other members of the community, board members, as well as families. So the first item of note is that in our original plan, we were hoping to bring all children back K-8 face-to-face. That was our initial goal. That was also when we were operating under the assumption that we did have some flexibility with that 6-foot rule. So historically, that was why we came to you with that initial plan, and our overall belief that children do need the face-to-face time with their teachers in order to fully engage in learning. In that sense, when we realized grades 4 through 12 that we were unable to meet those social distancing requirements of 6 feet, as well as the numbers of students in each classroom, we truly felt that the only safest way for us to bring back our students in any semblance of a face-to-face fashion would be through a hybrid model, which essentially means that children would be here one day with their teacher, and then the next day they would be engaging in remote learning from home, and that would alternate. And then we would also engage in early dismissal Mondays, as Dr. Rudersell just alluded to enable teachers to collaborate. We found that that was of great importance last spring, that it enabled us to shift very quickly into our online platform that we did in the spring. Of course, we were all dealing with the unknowns and not really understanding how COVID-19 would impact our communities. The last thing that we really wanted to do was to penalize children in the middle of a pandemic, that we weren't really certain how our community would be impacted. Now that time that has passed and we've had time to reflect and hear feedback from our community, as well as from our faculty and staff and administrative team, we do realize that it is critically important that we engage in rigorous learning moving forward. So to that end, this proposal is the proposal that can best, most closely get us home to that goal while balancing that with the health and safety needs of our students as well as our faculty and staff. So we did shift that to K-3 face-to-face in person, and they would be with the early dismissal on Monday. Grades 4 through 12 would be alternating days, and how that's broken down will be delineated very clearly in the plan that Dr. Rudersill plans to share with the community. However, I can give you a sneak peek, and that is that the children will be broken up by alphabet, A to K and L through Z. A to K students will be attending in person school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. L through Z will be attending school Wednesdays and Fridays. And then on those Mondays, they will be alternating Mondays face-to-face. So for example, one Monday, our A to K students would come in on a Monday and would have their early dismissal. The following Tuesday, L through Z students would come in on Monday face-to-face. That way it helped us to equalize the face-to-face time that each child had with their teacher. So that was the purpose.
LZ would be the following Monday.
Correct. L through Z would be the following Monday. Oh, I apologize. Yeah, sorry. Monday, early dismissal. So that would rotate. The other point is at the high school level, any student that was accepted into the Adams County Technical Institute would attend their training program daily, as would students who are special education students. They would be provided that option of attending daily. Also, non-speaking English language learners would also be afforded the opportunity to access school daily. We do provide another option beyond this option, the Conewago Valley, and that is through Lincoln's Edge, which is our K-12 recommended online program for families who would determine that online learning would be in their child's best interest. We do have a relationship with Lincoln's Edge in the sense that those students could participate in our activities. They can receive, if they're at the high school level, they would be eligible to receive a Conewago Valley School District diploma. But for families that believe that an online instruction option is in their family's best interest, that would be the instructional model that we would recommend. The only other statement of note that I wanted to bring to the attention as part of the overall planning was that we wanted to make this as seamless as possible for families. So we have all heard of the green phase, the yellow phase, the red phase in dealing with COVID-19. In lieu of providing 3 separate proposals and instructional plans or health and safety plans, we're providing essentially a plan for the green and yellow phase instructionally. And then the red option would be full on remote, when we would safely assume that the governor would close our schools due to enhanced numbers of COVID-19 in our county. So for families' purposes of planning, we did incorporate the same plan. That was a question that I have been receiving is the plan different if we're in green as we are now? But if we were to shift to yellow, would your instructional plan change at all? And the answer is no. That the plan is delineated, that will be shared out with families, and it's identical in the green and the yellow phase. The only shift then would be to full at-home remote learning in red. So those are the highlights and the changes that were made from our original plan of the instructional plan. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has at this time.
Since we have cooperation with Lincoln Edge, are they going to be able to handle the influx of extra students?
We hope so. Right now, they have been able to. They are working on getting everyone registered that has gone over, and we're working in conjunction with them right now because, like every district and anyone else trying to get technology, everything's on back order. So any student that enrolls in Lincoln Edge right now will get their iPad that they would have gotten had they come to our school to use until they can get their technology in place. Their technology is on back order. They're supposed to get it maybe October, November sometime. So if that's the case, they asked if we would work in partnership with them, and we said no problem. We have ordered the iPads for all our kids anyway, so it's not like if they not to give them would be foolish because it allows them to learn. So we'll work in conjunction with them on that.
Will they be able to keep up with the curriculum that we are providing here?
With Lincoln Edge?
Yeah, Lincoln Edge.
They should be able to. That's the point of that cyber school, is that it matches or comes very close to matching what we have. Our ultimate goal, just so the public knows and everyone else knows, our ultimate goal this year is we are working on developing our own online academy that will be taught with our teachers and our curriculum, so that next year, 21, 22, students, if we're in this situation or any situation, students will have the option to stay with us full time, whether it be online or in person, or even a hybrid model where they may take some online courses and be here for the other half of the day, depending on what that looks like. We will get there. We did not want to rush that process. What we did not want to do is put a canned product out that wasn't very good. We want to make sure that whatever we do for Conewago Valley, it's the best for us and our students, and it represents what our community wants and needs.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. That sounds like the best approach. Are there any other questions?
I had a question. So with the A through K and L through Z split, we have some families that have students with different last names. Are there any accommodations for those families?
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great question. That's one that we have received a number of. What we're going to ask those families to do is contact their building administration to work through that process. What we are not encouraging is that, we have friends, and so we want to go to school together with our friends, that we are really, because that will upend our numbers and our attempts at equalizing the numbers and reducing the overall numbers daily. But if there is a specific situation where families with different last names at different parts of the alphabet, they can work with their building principal and we can make that happen. So the transportation is the same and we can keep them together.
We just wouldn't encourage friends asking to change.
Correct.
To be with friends.
Yes. I mean, we understand that that would be a desire, but unfortunately during these times, we have to do the very best that we can to keep those numbers as equal as possible to maintain the social distancing.
And then the second question I had is with the hybrid approach and learning. In the spring, we were kind of had compromised on the academic standards. Is that the plan moving forward with the hybrid approach? Is there going to be any compromise, or will we teach to the Pennsylvania standards?
Yeah, that's really a great point of clarification. So when we first started, as you recall, and I know that our community recalls receiving communication from us regarding the phases. So phase 1, we called it enrichment and review, where there was no new learning that was coming forward from our faculty. It was purely just a way for teachers to connect with their students after the abrupt closure of our schools, and also to help us determine needs. So we do know that not all families had access to the internet. We were very concerned about not being able to work from a level playing field, so to speak. And there was no way that we could level that playing field at that time. So again, in that spirit that we're not here to penalize children academically in a pandemic, we did the best we could under those circumstances. Then we moved into some planned instruction a couple of weeks later, where we were beginning to introduce, we were able to roll out iPads at the middle level. We were able to work with the principals at the elementary level to put packets of information together for families. So that was our phase 2. And we had 6 to 7 weeks of that. And then the school year came to a very quick halt. We plan on moving forward with full instruction, rigorous instruction, as we have been talking about this evening. I do feel like, however, that there will be work to be done in the sense of compacting our curriculum and removing things from our curriculum that have filled the 180 days when students are with us face to face. It will look different because of how it's structured. So that will be an ask that I'm making of our faculty and staff, is that they are taking a look at their curriculum and making instructional decisions of things that do not necessarily need to be included as part of this model. But the core of the standards and the objectives will remain the same, and we will stick to that. So there is accountability that's built into our plan. So students are expected. It is not optional for them not to participate. So the rules of the compulsory education will apply.
Did we take a roll call?
Now we'll be ready to roll call.
We have extensively discussed number 7 and 8. So we need a roll call vote on the items number 1 through 8.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Graybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Ms. Gowker,
Yes.
Mr. McGraw.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to personnel.
I'd like to recommend for board approval personnel items 1 through 12 with additional items 13 through 18 and the additional item added number 19 regarding Nate Edwards.
Okay, we heard items number 1 through 12, 13 through 18, and 19 is Nate Edwards as a long-term sub. Do you have a second? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Flickinger,
Yes.
Ms. Gowker,
Yes.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Graw.
Yes. All right, we have property and supplies.
Before making the recommendation, I did want to just, for the benefit of folks that are online, Dr. Rudisil, could you tell us a little bit about the item number 1 and the YMCA?
Yes. So what you see in property and supplies right now the district is looking to authorize that the Hanover YMCA with Melissa Hartlob be able to use New Oxford Elementary and Conewago Township Elementary for before school and after school daycare. We recognize the need for families to use that service, and we also know it's very vital. The Y has worked with us, and they're going to adhere and follow our safety plan in place so that anything that happens there will follow our district's safety plan also. So we will be doing that, and that will start most likely August 25th and run through the school year to help out our families.
This isn't new.
No, this is not new. This is
something that we've been doing. We just need to approve it so we can continue.
We do, but in this day and age of COVID, there are a lot of schools that are opting not to use after school and day and before school care, and putting it on the parents. We recognize, anything that we can do to try to help, we certainly will. And this is one way, because I know some schools have denied these outside organizations to come in and use their facilities. But we have a good relationship with the Y, and they have agreed to adhere to our standards.
All right. Thanks for the information.
Absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people do. All right. Right.
Yes.
So with that, thank you.
Yep.
I'd like to recommend approval of item number 1.
Okay. If there are not any additions or corrections, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Ms. Gauker,
Yes.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
and Mr. Grom.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, under dates to remember. I guess everybody's going to know that August 25th, we are going to start school with or without the governor. And the other dates to remember is September 14th will be a study session, and September 21st will be the board's open board meeting. Okay, we will move on to other business, which may properly come before the board.
So we have comments that are not related to necessarily board agenda items. So the first one is from a Mr. Dan Colgan. Let me start here. I'd like to address the recent letter sent to McSherrystown residents regarding the mandate that all children of residents of the borough will now be required to walk to Conewago Township Elementary. This affects 50 to 75 students in the North 2nd, North 3rd, and West End of McSherrystown. I would like to begin by saying that I have heard far too many excuses by representatives of the Conewago Valley School District regarding the actions in this letter and very few answers. I'd also like to dispel the notion that the policy is misunderstood. First, it is understood that there is a policy, while not adhered to in these cases over the past 2 or 3 years, that this is a position in the school district that is perfectly acceptable to ask children 6, 7, 8 years old to walk up to 1.5 miles to school. That in itself is not where the school issue is not where the issue originates. Second, is not misunderstood that parents are responsible for their children before and after school, and it has been frankly pointed out that it is not the school that needs to accommodate those parents. Not sure. So those things being understood, the fact of the matter is that the school is responsible for the safety of the 4,200 students that attend our district schools, and either directly in voting to do so or indirectly through the Director of Transportation side to throw parents of McSherrystown Borough a curveball, informing them that there would be no bus service for their children and they are not considered walking students less than 2 weeks before school begins. There are working parents, a vast majority of which 2-income families have already done their part in making sure that their children are clean, healthy, and logistically able to get to their bus stop safely. This is until an arbitrary and poorly implemented decision thrusts them into yet another tailspin of finding a way to get their kids from their provider to the school instead of their bus stop. Now they must scurry at the last minute with all the other challenges and frustrations that come with the new school year because someone wanted a quick fix to COVID edicts from Harrisburg. I've been told by people representing your school that the planning of this started 30 days ago with masks needed to be worn. Over that month, they discussed how they did so without any communication with the EMC nor any borough representative in McSherrystown. Not the council leadership, not the safety committee, and most egregiously not the chief of police whose primary responsibility is the safety of this community. At no time was it discussed what the effects would be of placing additional young children, even with adult supervision, on the already crowded and congested streets of McSherrystown, and to top it off with an inadequate time to prepare or plan how to do that safely. At no time was it considered that 2 crossing guards in the borough of McSherrystown would be enough to keep the increase in travelers on our streets. At no time was it considered that parents who had no other choices would have to find other parents in the same situation or hope that they are leaving their children in responsible hands. At no time was it considered that the police, who know our streets better than any other individual, should be contacted and consulted on any changes so they would be prepared to assist in the transition. This is yet another knee-jerk reaction which forces parents to find answers caused by irresponsible decisions made by others. This decision needs to be reversed as quickly as it came and keep the bus service exactly the way it was. It's unfair to keep yet more school parents to deal with. They have to deal with an uncertainty of the upward 6 months. So, let me see if I can get this here. There we go. All right, can we hook up? I'm sorry, this comes from Rachel Brillhart. Can we hook up high school students with the parents of younger ones to help with babysitting? Let's work together as a district, get the high schoolers some money and parents of the younger kids help, either with care of the schoolwork. No liability of CVSD waiver should be presented. Brett Stevens, if we decide not to send our children to school, will there be a way to do the schoolwork on the tablets they receive, as we feel they would be safer working from home but not homeschool setting? I'll be able to answer that one now. Unfortunately, no, we do not have an online option other than Lincoln Edge that we could recognize and use for our students on a daily basis. So right now, that would be the only choice for Mr. Stevens and his child, would be to do the hybrid model with us or to go to Lincoln's Edge full time. Unfortunately, that's what we have right now. This is from Danielle Smith. Since CVSD did not consult with the McSherrystown Chief of Police and extended the walking area in McSherrystown without consultation, risking the safety of walkers without allowing the adequate time for McSherrystown to put a proper safety plan in place, will CVS be taking over the full financial responsibility for paying for and providing crossing guards and escorts for children expected to walk in areas without sidewalks and through busy intersections? The CBD does not want to consult the borough on these decisions. The school district should not expect the borough to provide help for crossing guards. This is a transportation issue, should come out of the transportation budget from our school taxes. No, not partially funded through municipality dollars. From Kayla Abbott, you stated the students are required to wear masks as mandated by PA. However, the last meeting proved many parents could not or would not want this due to health issues or personal issues. How do we know as parents how many children in each classroom are actually wearing masks and how many aren't? Now that you switched to hybrid for 4 through 12, I was considering for my 7th grader. You commented last time you would potentially create a survey, but no such survey was sent out. In response to that, we did send a survey out. I believe that was on July 21st to all parents, and that survey was due back then on that Monday, July 27th. And those results will also be shared out tomorrow. They'll be put on our website also. In regards to the mask issue, the only way a student cannot be required to wear a mask is if they feel they have a health issue, which they would need to bring up to our special education director. And then from there, our team would meet and determine if a 504 plan was necessary to meet the medical needs of that child. From Jason Ringley, in your plan, have you taken into account that many households have both parents working and not able to just stay at home every other day and to homeschool? Would it have possibly been a more intelligent decision to let older students, high school age, stay at home and remote learn instead of younger students who would require more supervision? I know for our family that staying home from work is just not an option. How would you suggest that we address that? The remote learning from this past school year was an absolute disaster and extremely stressful on both parents and students. There are no daycare providers available to watch our children every other day and also make sure they are doing their schoolwork. I just see this as being poorly thought out and a flawed plan. Craig Shirk, has any consideration been given to the plan K through 3 in person of instruction, given the recommendation provided today by the PA Department of Health, based on the current levels of community transmission, which suggests Adams County is moderate level and recommends only blended or full remote learning model? And Allison Kaiser, what is the plan for back to school night or building orientation? I have a kindergartner, NOE, and 4th grader that will obviously be entering new schools. So back to school nights will be virtual. That will be coming out tomorrow in that detailed plan from the building principals. And they are working on some type of kindergarten opportunity. I don't know what that would look like. The building principals are working on that right now. And then high school will still have their high school orientation for 9th graders. For next year, and not this year, unfortunately, we are going to look to do a day where we bring in kindergarten, 4th grade, 7th grade, and 9th grade. Just to do that now at this time wouldn't be prudent, and we're not prepared to do that at this time. And that ends those comments.
All right. So do we have public comment on
That was
the
all.
non-agenda?
That was it.
Is that
Yep.
part of it? Okay. At 8:44, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Stop the share.